And welcome back to episode 3, part 2, I can count, of Unfettered. You guys are, I believe, discussing how much money you're going to spend on your stuff and what you're going to do about crew.
Yeah. So we've got 2 NPCs to pick up, possibly. So we should go grab them.
Yeah.
And then, depending, because if we get them, depends on how many random faces we grab.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we might split 2,000 gold from capturing the ship with all of our crew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or all the crew that were part of it. And okay, wait, we have less than, so if we do 1,500 on the crew, yeah, 2,000, but it's 500 of that is going to starting wages for the crew that we're picking up.
Okie doke.
And they'll divide however it divides.
Yeah, you're just paying out.
Yeah.
Alright, sounds good. Do you have an idea of how many crew you're picking up, or is that you're figuring that out after you talk to possible troublemakers?
Possible troublemakers than that, because don't want to fire someone after we get them.
Right. For any viewers not aware, troublemakers is the term we have coined for...
I coined.
We're all a team here, Crispy. It's a group effort. Okay, so troublemakers is a term that Crispy came up with that I have stolen for the NPCs that are significant enough to warrant their own stats, and that the 2 of them can take with them when they leave the ship. Although they can only take 1 troublemaker at a time. To keep it from getting to a point where they have a party of like 10, right? We want more characters, but we don't want to fuck with the balance.
What are you talking about? A party of 10 is the exact balance that D&D was designed.
That's mostly just I don't want to deal with that many PC level characters. Yeah, nope.
All right.
So, what would you like to do?
Let's go find some troublemakers.
Genasi or Lifo?
I like Lifo. Constructs who wantonly murder are kind of up my alley.
You do not know what Lifo is.
I have no clue, actually.
No. I think Crispy was not in the campaign at that point.
All right, let's get a Lifo. You're gonna enjoy this NPC more than I am.
Yeah, Lifo is probably... God, where would he be hanging out? What are some of our locations? Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah, he's probably just at the docks. Like he showed up, and the story Jiraki tells you is that he showed up in Sanctuary one day and just was seen standing at the docks, and people were like asking him what he wanted, and he said that he was waiting for a ship, and then people would be like, well, I have a ship, and he'd be like, no, not yours. So that's the information you've got.
Oh boy.
Let's convince him that our ship is the right ship. It's gonna be fun.
So
on the Pleasure Palace.
So you go to the docks?
Welcome to our Pleasure Palace. Yeah, so we'll just go directly to him.
All right. So you go to the docks, past these squalid shanty houses made by people who clearly know nothing about architecture or even basic carpentry, to the docks, where there are people, moving cargo and effecting repairs on various ships along the sky front. It's certainly not a waterfront. I'm not sure what you'd call that.
Just a giant hole in the middle of the city, or like
divoting into the city?
It's
front.
Cloudfront. I like that. I mean, I know that's an actual term, but I like it. We'll steal it. The skyport for Sanctuary is actually on the edge of the island, and it's moved a bit over the years. Originally, it was right at the edge of the island, but then people were like, because there are no zoning laws, people sort of figured it would be really advantageous if I lived right next to the docks or had my business right next to the docks. And there wasn't enough space for the docks, so they sort of expanded out, and then the businesses followed, and it's just been this ever, like...
It's, hey, look, it's San Francisco.
Yeah, it's the self-feeding problem, where you've got effectively an entire district of Sanctuary that is not on land. It's on like various Oolite-powered floating devices, keeping everything from falling into the arcane. So there's a noticeable divide when you go from Sanctuary proper on these like poorly maintained cobblestone streets to like the
Sanctuary,
the wooden decking, effectively, that makes up this portion of the city. So you arrive on the docks and you start looking around. Maybe do you ask around, or you're just like walking around expecting that you'll see him?
Well, I'll ask around a little bit.
I'll just walk.
Yeah, you ask some dock worker, and they go, "Oh, that guy down there." Like clearly, everybody has gone by and gone to like try and talk to this weird construct that showed up.
Right.
And yeah, you can find him pretty easily. He's I wouldn't say he's tall. He's like 5'4", if I remember correctly. He's a sort of dark gray and black construct wearing sort of like golden or brass armor and with some red fabric, I believe as like a toga almost, and a sword at his side. And he's clearly seen some stuff, like seen some combat.
He's seen some shit.
The metal of his frame is warped and pitted, and there are some places where it looks like he's been almost melted down and then reforged. And there he is, just standing on the docks.
Ah, are you the one they call Lifo? Lifo.
He turns mechanically, and you see his eyes, like the apertures of his eyes narrow and expand as he adjusts his focus on you. I am.
Greetings. I am Captain Albert Vessinger.
Greetings.
Of course. Would you be interested in joining our crew?
He turns to face you. Who is your crew?
Well, they're a group of people under my command, as the possessive indicates.
And I would join them. Why?
Because we offer a good amount of gold, because I'm handsome, because our quartermaster is Constance Stormheart.
I'm afraid I do not know who that is.
Hey, how dare you?
One person. Just like, oh.
By the divine.
Great. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Kelly, there's suddenly Kelly holding me back from like swinging at him.
Wait, did we bring Kelly? They just been like quietly following behind us, like, yeah, like, oh, you haven't heard of Constance Stormheart? I guess people don't talk to you much, do they?
I have not been here long.
Oh, how long have you been here?
Approximately 3 weeks and 2 days.
Could I get you interested in what would it take to get you on my ship?
I'm here for justice.
Well, let me tell you a story.
He turns toward you. Will this story give me justice?
Well, that's the thing. There once was a...
Is this the one about the gambling, or is this the one about the time that you slept with the governor's wife?
Man, those were such great times. No, this is the story of a girl and her dragon. I feel like kind of fades to...
You see, like, yeah, the colors of his eyes change when you say that. From, like, this sort of, like, glowing, examining red to, like, a soft purple. And then, yeah, we fade into sepia tone. And we see we see the ship that we saw before. And maybe, like, as audience, we have this moment of, like, oh boy, more Constance backstory, good times. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong. And then we hear cannon fire, and our camera turns from, like, where it was looking at the center of the deck and it looked fine to off deck. There's, like, this plume of smoke off the side of the ship where the cannons have just fired, and then another ship. And the captain comes striding down the deck. All hands! All hands! Where's my quartermaster? And then we hear this like screech, this inhuman bestial screech, and our camera pans up, and what do we see?
So Constance, just with a blade that's, like, glowing and got, like, all of these arcane runes, like, inscribed in almost, like, crackling letters on the back of this wyvern with wings spread out, scorpion-tailed creature that's got, like, a saddle on it, but then also, like, a face mask almost that's made to make it look more skull-like.
Nice. It's got like barding, like mount armor.
Yeah, and that's got war paint on it.
Nice. What color is it? Just out of hand.
The wyvern or the paint?
The wyvern.
The wyvern, it's brown. It's just like a classical reptile with wings.
Sounds good. Yeah, and so we see Constance, like, dive through the air on this, and the captain, like, runs to the railing and shouts after her, "Take out the captain!" And so we see Constance flying, and she, like, dives down dangerously close to the arcane. We can see, like, arcing bonds of like purple energy crackling off of the clouds and snapping at the air just below the wyvern, and then she swoops up and onto the deck of this enemy ship, and we see, like, not Imperials, but, like, probably mercenaries that are defending some merchant ship level a couple rifles in her direction. And what does she do?
I think at that point she just lands, and you see her swing the sword like in this wide arc, and, like, the air around where she swung kind of ripples for a second, and then the camera, like, it looks like everything bends in towards it and then out suddenly, and all of them are just flung back.
Nice. And, like, two of them go flying over the railing, and we get a nice Wilhelm scream as they fall to their dooms, and we get this, like, nice, well choreographed action sequence of Constance taking down the mercenaries on the deck, and then we cut back to our current time, and Lifo just says, "Is this going somewhere?"
keep listening. I might.
Why?
I'm
How
not
is,
embellishing.
my question is, how does she keep changing the scene all of a sudden?
I feel like I'm being seen by a camera.
Shh.
And we
activates.
we cut back, and we get this wide shot of Constance fighting across the deck of this merchant vessel, and then there's a loud crack as if from thunder, and a flaming cannonball comes flying out of a storm front that forms the backdrop of our shot. So firing toward the camera, toward the Leviathan's descent, Constance's old ship. And the music goes low and ominous. We get like the brass section rising up, and this massive man-o-war, which we've seen before. This gilded ship with a swooping eagle at its prow comes looming out of the clouds, and we can see Molokai Kent standing at the front of the ship. What does Constance do?
I was like, at this point, like, so there's a wyvern like swooping around, like knocking people off rigging and like doing all that while I'm like using my Oolite blade on the ship. I think that at this point, like, I just like look for the captain of the ship and just turn to him and it's like, "You'll be flying your ship into theirs now."
I think he just sort of freezes up, and like just becomes unresponsive.
So at this point, like, she just pushes him out of the way and then starts barking commands at this crew. And anyone who doesn't listen, she whistles and points, and then whoever just picks them up and drops them off the ship.
Nice, yeah. And we like. She grabs hold of the steering wheel and hard turns the ship, and the whole vessel groans against the strain, and it turns and starts moving toward this massive warship, and that's bristling with cannons, and the Leviathan's descent starts to peel off, and we can see the captain shouting at Constance. But we can't quite hear what she's saying. And the ship, I assume, stays its course.
Yeah.
So when...
What do you mean? You were there. How can you not hear what you're saying? I don't understand what you're trying to convey here. Because it's, of course, being like said back to us.
Right. And so this... what does Constance do when this merchant ship collides with the iron sides of Molokai's ship?
So she just like starts running, like she's let go of the steering wheel, starts running towards the ship, and like jumps off the side at the last second, and like you see her just like grab out, and then like talons grabbing her arm, like talons the size of her arm, like grabbing her and like flapping, and then like her just landing on the deck.
Yeah, and now we see arrayed around her these Imperial soldiers, armed to the teeth, and Molokai turns from where he's standing at the prow and he holds up a hand and says, "No! She is mine." And he, he draws his Imperial blade, this like ornate cutlass, and sets himself in a fighting stance. "It didn't have to end this way, Constance. You made a choice."
And she just like doesn't even like respond to that. She just draws her weapon and just like once again like the field around the sword like bends as she swings it. And like Molokai would probably duck out of the way, but then like everyone standing behind him gets blown back.
Yeah, I think even like it's this wide arc, so the soldiers behind you get thrown back toward the back of the ship, and we get this fight scene between the two of them. maybe each of them landing, small hits here and there, but nothing serious, until finally he disengages, panting, and the Leviathan's descent has come near. It has dealt enough damage to Molochai's ship that it's not taking as much fire, but clearly the ship has to, the Leviathan is going to have to leave. And you can hear the captain shouting, "This isn't your time, Stormheart!"
Grudgingly, she's going to do one last swing to push people away before she starts to jump off the ship
and
dive off the ship.
Yeah, and Molochai roars after her, "You're not getting away this time!" and throws his cutlass down and picks up a rifle off of one of the just pulls it out of one of his soldiers' hands and aims and fires a shot. And from our view, it looks like he missed. Constance, jumps off of the prow of the ship, and then we, cut to her falling, and we look and we can see her wyvern falling limp through the air, and she lands on the deck, hits the deck hard. We hear maybe a snap from her arm, and she rolls. Faintly in the background, we can hear the captain yelling at the crew to all ahead, get us out of here. And our camera view looks up from the back deck where we can see Constance sort of huddled against the railing, and we see Molochai at the prow. "I'll always find you, Constance. There's nowhere you can hide, nowhere you can run." And then we fade back to modern day.
So there's that. That's kind of justice. Also, we're trying to save, all these people from the zealous imperial regime that's going to, crush the common folk and is quite tyrannous as well. But that's second behind my dragon.
Lifo looks down, and then looks back to you, Albert, and extends a hand.
All right.
And then he doesn't say anything. He just shakes her hand, and looks around at the different ships.
Lord Austenwall's revenge.
He nods curtly, and then turns to Constance and says, "I have already brought justice to a world before. Believe me when I pledge to you, we will bring justice to this one as well." And he'll start walking down the docks to go to your ship.
Just lean over to Albert. Did your skin crawl? Because my skin crawled.
What is he talking? A world before? Is he one of those ancient artifact types?
I will add Lifo to your journal just as soon as Roll20 realizes that I'm using it and that it should respond to my commands. For those of you watching, Lifo is an NPC who has appeared in a previous campaign. There isn't a whole lot of background information that you need to understand him beyond what you just saw. So don't worry, don't feel like you're missing out on something. It's just, that's a face and a name that Top Hat is familiar with.
Yeah. I think one of my characters got his sword from our last campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, Lifo would be amazing. But no, he can't have.
But no.
He doesn't get a Holy Avenger right off the bat.
No, he does not have a Holy Avenger. He does, however, have some other stuff. I would highly recommend you take a look at his character sheet.
I don't think you gave us editing to it.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Man, he sure has a pretty face, though.
You can just look at his icon. Yeah, come on, Roll20. Boop doop. And can be edited, controlled by all players. Save changes. Oh, there we go. Man, sidebar. I really like Roll20. It's a fantastic platform, but sometimes it gets really bogged down, especially with how complex the 5th edition sheets are. But yeah, he has a +1 longsword, and he has an ability based on his being a construct, and in his class, he's a paladin. His channeled affinity is unique to him. And you may recognize it, is based on a 2nd edition spell called Ilmater's Fist. Basically, it deals damage to a target equal to the amount of damage the paladin has taken in the past hour. So
that ability has exploded 1 or 2 enemies with your in a dungeon healing, walking a bit, healing. I think the most I've seen it do was 200 damage in a system where getting 100 health was just this like, oh my god, like level 20, if you had 100 health, you must have rolled all 10s.
Yeah, and he has decent AC and a solid HP pool, so the idea here is that if you're going into a situation where you know you're going to want a tank, you're going to want a solid melee body, he's a good troublemaker for you to bring with you. And part of the idea behind these troublemakers is, since they can only bring one, I'm trying to design each one to fit into some kind of a niche so that at no point are Crispy and Toppat can be like, we would like to do this thing, but if we do it, we will definitely die because, or we just won't be able to succeed at it because we don't have the things on hand. Because we're working with an inherently less diverse party by only having 2 characters. So this is to help patch up those areas, but in a way where you can't just bring everyone and be prepared for everything. You have to know beforehand what sort of things you're going to do. So that's Lifo Yarut. He is on board. He's on the team.
All right.
And yeah, congrats on your paladin.
I'm useless. We don't need Albert anymore. I can just pick up a new character.
Yeah, totally. We don't need a captain for the ship. That's pointless.
Absolutely pointless. All right.
Why would we need those?
Let's go find that Genasi. Was it Genasi fighter?
The Genasi. Yeah, there's a tracker, and their name is Zaire.
Zaire. All right.
And you can find them probably at a different tavern, like an actual inn somewhere where they're staying. Actually, you know what? No, I know exactly where they are. There's a small conclave of the travelers, and they're hanging out there. In most larger cities, you can find a travelers conclave, which is sort of like a guild hall, specifically for travelers and people looking to employ their work.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we'll head there.
Okie doke. So you head back into Sanctuary proper and off the creaking, somewhat worrisome streets of the Docks district. And you head past the center of town. It's over on the other side of the island. And on your way, you pass the Marquise, which is this large man-o'-war grounded in the center of town. That is sort of like the city hall for Sanctuary. It's where the Council of Pirates sits and holds court when it needs to have meetings. And the Marquise is a fully functioning man of war that belonged to one of the original members of the Pirate Council, a Captain. I can't remember every name in this game, but I think I wrote it down. Captain Liqueur.
Liqueur?
Yeah.
Captain Liquor?
No, Liqueur.
Liquor?
Here, I'll type it in Twitch chat. Liqueur.
The only captain I need sailing my boat.
All right. You do what you need to do, Crispy.
It's weird how all the people here are named after food. Liquor, teriyaki.
No. Sometimes you guys are great, and then sometimes you're every GM's worst nightmare, and I always forget.
And then Lathers, his brother Marinade.
Oh no! Lathers was good. He got a YouTube video named after him. So you walk through town, past the marquees, and maybe you take a look around and see if there are any familiar faces. And Constance is definitely starting to get some looks. News is traveling through Sanctuary that the Eternal Storm is back.
Oh, jeez.
Possibly topless.
I do have to say, Constance, it's a relief having you around. It makes that so that people don't stare at my wings because they're looking at you all the time.
I look over at him. Oh my god, you have wings.
Constance Airhead Stormheart. So you make your way across town and arrive at the cozy enclave of the travelers. Noticeable mostly because it's one of the only actually architected buildings in the city. And someday a storm is going to come through here that's stronger than the rest and knock over most of the city, but the marquees will be there and this building will be there.
Oh, hey, look. Oh, wait, it's that way.
And yeah, so you enter, and it's sort of like a lodge. Like it's not really designed in any way where it's obviously about business. There's no reception area or anything. It's just like there's a community space with a hearth off to one side, a series of couches, some tables for people to meet. What do you do?
Oh, this is rather nostalgic, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have any paper I could borrow?
You just ask the room.
Yeah.
People look over and most of them go back to their conversations, but want to nod and rummage through a pack and hand you a piece of paper.
And you just see her pull a pen out and then write real quick, but just address it.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna.
I need this delivered, and it's just completely open, and it just says, "To Molokai, delivered to the Empire from Constance Stormheart," with a heart, and it says "in the mind."
The person that you got the paper from looks at it, shrugs, holds out a hand.
Yeah, drop 4 gold in it.
Yeah, they take the coins, pocket them, and go back to their pack. And you see them put the letter in with their stuff.
All right. I'm gonna. So what was the name of the person we're looking for again?
Zaire.
Zaire.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna start asking around my pardon my intrusion, but you wouldn't happen to know a Zaire?
Zaire, they're over there in the back. The one doing scrimshaw.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll start heading over there. I don't know what Constance is doing, but I've stopped caring.
That is a dangerous place to be in as a person.
It's Sanctuary. What's she gonna do? Fuck it up more?
Light it on fire?
Fair point.
Lighting it on fire is a very
even if you light it on fire, is it really gonna be worse
problematic. Our ship is on the other side of a completely wooden city. A cramped wooden city.
Well, some of us here have wings, so
hope you fly faster than the fire spreads.
I mean, it turns out that fires will actually give me a draft, boost me up.
Yeah, so you end up so far up into the atmosphere that you're starting to get cold, and you're oh, this was a bad idea.
I've got the fire in my blood. That's all that matters.
Anyway, so you walk up to Zaire. They've got a, I guess, fairly strong build. They look like they've probably been traveling for a long time, which most of the travelers have. They've got a tan reminiscent of the Genasi of the Caspian Desert, which is the big desert in Maradun.
Yeah.
And they've got long flowing black hair, which appears to be moving in a breeze despite the lack of any apparent breeze, which is a mark of them being air genasi.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll walk over. Excuse me, you wouldn't happen to be Zaire?
That would be me, yes.
Wonderful. We heard from Teriyaki that you were looking at that you were a capable individual looking for a certain amount of work. A certain kind of work.
I do not know any teriyaki, but if they gave you my name, I must give them my thanks. Yes, I am looking to ply my trade, but on a ship, preferably.
There's no need to worry about that. We had sorry, my apologies. Introductions first. My name's Captain Albert Vessinger.
They raise an eyebrow. Yes, your name is known well to my people.
And then, like, literally lifting myself up over her shoulder. And I'm Constance Stormheart.
Your name too. For similar reasons, unfortunately. But I hope.
I'm certain you also know how things ended between me and the Empire. So.
They nod. I have. And it is for that reason I do not strike you down where you stand. So you are looking for people to join your crew.
A capable hand, yes.
And would it be reasonable to expect trouble with the Empire?
I think trouble might be putting it a little bit lightly.
Like just Constance just laughing, just behind Albert, like behind his wings at this point, just laughing, just
yeah, he's just kind of like flared them out at this point, like blocking
just
around.
don't even look, but just like from behind there, I'm gonna kill Malachi.
And then they look over sort of in the direction of where Constance would be if Albert's wings weren't in the way. And the pay?
Good. We split everything that all of our finds with our crew, and well, we intend on attacking Imperial ships, so you could imagine how lucrative that's going to be.
Well, the majority of my expertise is on land. However, I am skilled at finding people. Hence, they look around the area as if to like indicate they're a traveler because they're good at finding people and finding things.
Like, at this point, like, I start peeling back the wing. How about Wyvern eggs?
Wyvern eggs. I have spent a summer or two in the wildlands, tracking the creatures you speak of, and I could be of assistance, yes.
I just turn.
So you've been to
He's
the
coming
wild.
on our ship. I just look at him. They're
If
coming on
he-
our ship.
If he agrees, there's always the all-important part of we're not taking crew that doesn't want to be here. I learned that lesson very well in Maradun.
I just look at him. What about Mabel?
I didn't have a choice because somebody interfered. Also, I intend on making it up to her.
They're just sort of looking between the two of you as you have this conversation. And they bow their head. I would be honored to offer my skills to as famous as you.
I'm famous.
Welcome aboard.
They hold out their hands to grasp your arm and do like the forearm shake.
Yeah.
As is customary in Maradun, and they'll offer the same to to Constance.
Mm-hmm. What kind of genasi are they?
Air genasi.
Genasi.
Yeah, I think when I'm like shaking his hand, like just unintentionally, you just see like a shock of electricity kind of shoot off suddenly. Just like, sorry.
They
It's
they
the way
look
around Air Genasi.
they look surprised. I can see that you are not lacking in surprises.
We have surprises covered.
The guy didn't know what hit
So
him.
you've
It was lightning.
So you've been to the Wildlands before.
I have.
Interesting.
It is an interesting place.
Dangerous nonetheless.
Very.
Interesting. I do have a man that I'll need you to find, but that's discussion for later.
They nod in acknowledgement. If I may, the Wildlands, they are dangerous to most people, especially Imperials who do not know what they're doing, but not any more dangerous than Maradun during the war.
Maradun was a dangerous place for a whole other set of reasons, but I do see your point.
Yeah, I think Constance at that point is going to get real quiet.
They'll nod. And your ship is...
Lord Austenwald's Revenge.
You can find it. It's trailing the Pleasure Palace behind it.
It's not the most impressive ship, but we intend on making fast work.
I'm sure the two of you will. If you will excuse me, I have some affairs to set in order before I leave Sanctuary.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. Just nod.
They bow in respect and then head off. What would the two of you like to do?
All right. Recruited.
Hookers in the city? Sounds good to you?
I mean, we're assuming that wasn't just in my blankets when my room.
There just are hookers there. You hide them under the blanket so no one finds them. But
well, yeah, they're paid. They come with the room.
Yeah, that's part of the pay.
For the next 10 years as well.
If it is vitally important to your characters, I'm sure you can find company for pay in Sanctuary somewhere.
No. That's not what I'm saying. He's gonna try and find that shop he was talking to Lawrence about. See if he can't find some supplies. He can't rub those fucking burn marks off his desk.
Yes, you could just buy a whole new desk, probably.
How much does that cost?
Have tried to take the last sweet roll from me.
I had already eaten it.
Let's see. I doubt there would be anything in the PHB indicating how expensive a desk would be.
Probably not. Maybe like
given
there's some furniture in there.
Craftsmanship and materials, I would expect a decently made desk to cost about the same as a longsword.
That's
Like
pretty
15
cheap.
gold.
Yeah.
All right, 15 gold. I'm also gonna look at buying some books for my library.
Okay.
For my bookshelf.
You can drop whatever quantity of money you would like on that, and that can have a mechanical benefit in providing you advantage on any kind of research-based roll that you make while on the ship, and then just depending on how much money you spend, it'll and how difficult the research is will decide if you get that advantage.
Okay.
So, like, if it's some super secret thing and you only dropped 2 gold on it, then you don't get the advantage.
So you need 500 of this, right, Brian?
Drop 500 of it. Go ahead. I was just realizing I'm also gonna. Can you drop 100 of that and get us 500 feet of silk rope as well?
100 of that for 500 feet of silk rope. All right.
Yes.
So
Because I just realized that rope in a sky adventure might be an important thing.
Are you gonna purchase mooring equipment?
Oh, yeah. We need to get enough, roughly 40 of that.
Yeah,
We
which
have 15.
I think we said that It was about the cost, like about half the cost of 50 feet of silk rope, I think. Does that sound right?
So 5 gold each. Yes, that
Yeah.
sounds exactly.
So 5 gold for. So how much? 5 gold?
5 gold each. So we're gonna want 25.
You should just
So-
drop drop the enough for 40, and then you'll have spares.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 200.
200?
Yeah.
All right.
So that's a total of 800 that we're dropping between
And
books, rope, mooring equipment.
see, do you have mooring equipment on your sheet already? No.
No.
I believe you had 5. Yeah, you had 15 because you already had 5, and then you bought 10.
Or something.
So yeah, just put down in your ship details that you have 55 sets of mooring equipment.
Yeah.
And as long as your crew doesn't exceed that number, we will assume your entire crew is equipped. Mooring equipment for our audience is like harnesses and ropes and like carabiners and stuff that Sky Mariners use to hook onto parts of the ship during combat or storms to make sure that they don't fall off the side. Because if you fall off the side of a ship on water, it sucks, and you're probably gonna die, but you could be rescued. And if you fall off the side of an airship over land, you generally turn into a pancake, and if you fall into the arcane, no one really knows what happens to you because you'll never be found.
Well, I think we do know
Well-
what happens when someone does that.
Well,
Constance has some words about what happens when you fall into the arcane.
yeah, if you can come
You're
back
lucky.
out.
Yeah. You're lucky.
If you have a weapon that picks you up and flies you away afterwards.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
My dragon.
We're gonna want to start saving up for like improvements to our ship, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah, or new ships. But I think that amount of money we keep the gold just in case we hit a slow section. We can pay off whatever crew we have to be like,
Mhm.
here, we're spending this out of pocket. Sorry we didn't get any prizes, but it's also kind of an expected thing in pirate life.
Yeah.
You might go without getting a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to establish a good reputation, which is why we're keeping money on hand,
Mhm.
Yeah.
basically.
So I am wondering, could we do generic supply purchase? Like we drop gold and then say we have 200 gold of generic supplies that we be like,
Or
well,
like repairing the ship.
yeah, like, or being like, well, but we have this pile of supplies. Can we rummage through that and see if we have something?
So just sort of like a general purpose, like
Yeah,
more of an apocalypse world. Like
yeah,
we would like to have this on hand, so
We have this mound of convenient plot devices.
okay. Let's
because that also saves us from having to sit here and be like, all right, well, we've got our 100 or 500 feet of rope. Now let's go through and get.
Can we like throw it down for like 200 gold down for like a Vessinger's shopping list?
we could let's do it like ship munitions. So that's a ton of cargo space, 500 GP, and then 10 uses of convenient stuff on hand.
All right, so I've got this one, Chris.
Right.
So 1 ton of ship stuff, 10 uses. Okay.
All right.
So-
And yeah, if your ship takes damage and you need to repair it, or if you need something narratively convenient, then you can spend a use of that to have stuff on hand.
So I think what I wanted to do is, with the last little bit of time we've got in this segment,
Mhm.
is get the rest of our crew.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So how are you going to do that?
Well, we've got a list of names, and so we can either go to them individually,
Mhm.
or we are in the middle of the travelers group right now. Just write letters to all of them to meet us at this point, and then be standing on pedestals and like make dramatic entrance
I like that idea.
That's actually like that sounds more like what Constance like. You see Constance starting writing letters to like all these people, just like we're gonna have the most epic entrance.
It's we are. There's an apostrophe.
Look at him. They're pirates.
And I am a captain. Proper
Yeah.
And
There's like
eventually you just see the two stacks of like one by Albert Vessinger that's like, you are hereby invited to meet at the Lord Oswald's River, and then like Constance, show up here, heart Constance.
all right, and then you just pay out to get them sent off. It's local. You could probably just hand them like collectively a few gold, and people would be like, yeah, sure.
Sure, I'll do
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
The sanctuary.
Oh, hey, that's my cousin.
Yeah. Oh, I know that guy. He was face down in a gutter last I saw him. Great person.
But you've seen him.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm pretty sure he was still alive. All right. Yeah. Then shall we fast forward to, I guess, when do you want people to meet? Like that evening?
Yeah, at the
basically.
evening.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. Yeah. The docks have quieted down. You know, most people at this point are either, you know, taking their shifts on the whatever ship they're chartering, or carousing somewhere further in town. But there's some alchemical lanterns lighting the docks, and somewhere after sundown, a group of men and women begin gathering on the dock, sort of like shifting nervously outside Lord Austinwall's revenge, like looking at each other. Did you get a letter? Yeah, me too. What did yours? Was yours from Constance? No, mine was from some Albert Vessinger. God, what a fucking ponce.
So they're like the cameras like got like them all like gathered outside, and it just goes up, and it's no, okay, fly more above them. Come on, fly more above them. Okay, I think I'm good. Just let go.
Okay.
Constance just drops from the sky right in front of them,
Nice.
and then Albert like swoops in.
Yeah, the actually, let's roll a d20 real quick. See how the piers fares. The pier's okay, but it creaks, and we see like one of the nails from one of the boards get popped up from Constance hitting the pier, and it like flips end over end and falls into the arcane.
Well, hello, my new crew.
Yeah. Is that Constance Stormheart? I think it's Constance Stormheart.
Well, we seem to be
Greetings.
lacking some hands on our ship. And we're also looking to expand our ship, so we're looking to fill to the brim.
There's an excited murmur from the crowd, like, yeah, do be pirates. Hey, who's the guy with the wings?
This going to
Don't
like
ignore him. I'm just gonna step forward. My name is Captain Albert Vessinger. I am the captain of this vessel. Stormheart is my quartermaster.
You write like a ponce.
I write like a proper captain.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh man.
yeah, so
At least I can write.
Fair enough.
hey,
the person in question is like, yeah, no, you're right, fair point.
so next order of business is we're not just pirating.
There's some
We're starting a
confusion.
rebellion.
When you say rebellion, do you actually mean anything else?
I mean,
our intentions
I am
are
going
to
to-
target imperial factions and systematically raid, pillage, and destroy everything we can.
Yeah, that's what I thought rebellion meant too. Who is this person?
Just like stop for a second. Now we're going to be doing it by being pirates.
Ah!
Pirates with a bigger goal.
Ah! Ah!
Gold, glory, and for those who desire it, justice.
Yeah, I think you see a couple, like most of the crew is like, yeah, pirates, gold, glory, hell yeah. But a couple of them are like nodding at this.
Monocle, my word, what a very charming individual.
But I'm gonna make like the ones who are like on like the end of freedom like
Mhm.
part, the people who like really cheer them when we like keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much everyone is on board. I think maybe one or two people are like, no, this is too risky for my blood. I know what sort of trouble Constance used to get into. And
Do they?
I like being alive far more than I like being rich. But the majority of them will sign on, and that'll fill out your crew. So you're attempting to fill your ship entirely.
Yeah.
So that's 20 crew and then 15 passengers.
And then 5.
Oh, I guess
people on
probably
this-
probably less because NPCs and you guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. That's why we've got NPCs first, and then
So
also we
there's-
wanted to put 5 on the like fill the pleasure boat as well. But
Yeah,
none
so
of them
there's 6 named people so far, which I should add Zaire to your
So yeah,
journal.
so we are at 15, 16. We were at 17 with Mabel. Then we picked up 2 more names. So we were at 19 out of 41.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out of the initial 20, and then there's 15 and
Well, 41.
6. So yeah, 22 remaining slots.
Yeah.
Woo! Math. You know what they say, never do math on stream. They're absolutely correct. Alright, Zaire should be in your journal now. Hopefully. I have not written flavor text for them yet. And I think this is probably a good place for us to take our second break. And then when we come back, we can find out what sort of shenanigans our heroes will be getting up to. So we're gonna take a break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with hour 3.